What's up, fight fans? This is Kirk DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Michael Hunter, Igor Klimas, Team Usyk, Team Lomachenko. Get this. Avoided heavyweight Michael Hunter and former opponent signs with Team Usyk. One of boxing's most avoided heavyweight contenders has signed with Alexander Usyk's manager, Igor Klimas, in a quest for big fights. World Boxing News reported last week that American Michael Hunter is struggling to nail down top opponents. Hunter, who boasts Usyk as his only loss through 23 contests, is currently rated number 1 by the World Boxing Association. This means a second fight with Usyk is possible in the future. The pair collided at cruiserweight back in 2017 before both moved up in weight a short time later. The bounty hopes that linking the man who guided Usyk and Lomachenko to superstardom and world titles will be able to do similar things with him. He said, "Just signed with Igor Klimas as my advisor. Feeling stronger already," said Hunter, as continued to hope for a big fight. The two attempts to face Fury in what the WBA would have allowed being a final eliminator for Usyk fell apart this year alone. Huey Fury fight. Fury, cousin of WBC ruler Tyson Fury, revealed that he was ordered to take a break from the sport, leaving Hunter in the lurch. "I am a professional boxer who needs to fight to pay my bills, to live, but I have been out of the ring for a year," said Fury. "To my frustration, doctors advised me to take a rest at the moment because I'm suffering symptoms of long COVID. I feel weak with no strength. I've had all sorts of checks and they diagnosed me with long COVID symptoms. It's frustrating, but I can do nothing if my body's not allowing me to train. I'm going to take time out for the rest of this year. I'll pick up again where I've rested properly next year." Huey is still to reveal when he can return in action, and Hunter has since moved on and wants a heavyweight title shot in 2023. Having Klimas behind him will help Hunter achieve his goal, provided he can build on a drab draw with Jerry Forrest in 2021. Expected to win the contest handedly, Hunter failed to ignite. It's possibly due to not having massive names in the opposite corner. It's hoped facing some of the top contenders will bring the best out of Hunter, who is widely regarded as one of the most dangerous top division fighters worldwide. And let me counterpunch. It's unfortunate for Hunter that we don't see enough of him. Guys like Jerry Forrest, he was defeated by Jermaine Franklin. Jermaine Franklin had a close fight with Dillian White. But then it's like with Michael Hunter, I feel that like Demetrius Andrade and Jermall Charlo, those guys, they're in a situation where I believe they've made the wrong decisions, okay? And the only thing that I could see here on the WBA end, if he's looking for a title shot, that means he's still going to have to wait. Michael Hunter is not going to get a shot at Alexander Usyk now or at all, if at all. Why? Because Alexander Usyk has too many other guys that he could fight. He could fight Fury, if that's supposed to be the fight to happen for total unification, for undisputed. He could fight Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder's the former WBC king and well-known heavyweight champion to this day, okay? Or he could go and fight Anthony Joshua for the third time for the money. Who knows? But then just because Michael Hunter signs with Igor Klimas doesn't mean that he's going to get the title shot. And if he's thinking that he can get that right away, he's mistaken. Michael Hunter, I think, along with guys like Huey Fury, they both need to fight. And then didn't help Michael Hunter coming off a type of fight like that. Those type of questionable wins, or really, I think that was a draw, like Dillian White went through, like Teofimo Lopez went through, that doesn't help them in the public eye. Okay. And even Michael Hunter's going to have to take on one of those guys, or should I say, take out one of those guys that nobody else really wants to deal with. Okay. Yes, he lost to Alexander Usyk. He had a draw with Alexander Povetkin, right? And, he's been in there with some good names, but then it stopped. The feud with Eddie Hearn. I think at some point in your career, you need to understand what your position is. And I interviewed Michael Hunter. Nice guy, like him, love him like a play cousin. But at the same time, I heard and I understood what he was talking about. And he was saying, like, listen, I had the lion's share of the money, but I didn't want to fight overseas. It was so many things that could have went bad overseas, and I just didn't want to have all the power in Eddie. And I think it was just Eddie Hearn's involvement just turned him off. But then again, a lot of times when you're dealing with a big fish like Eddie Hearn, even though, this was in 2021, and Eddie was a lot bigger than he is now. Okay. But I think he should have acknowledged, like, yo, Eddie's big. I'm going to have to work with him eventually if I want those big fights, because he has those big fighters. And I think he should have taken that fight. If he could took out Ergovic, and, looking at Ergovic, I think he could have beat Ergovic, right? I think he could have beat Ergovic, because Ergovic, he's fast, but how powerful is he really? You know what I mean? Is he as skillful than someone like Michael Hunter? And Michael Hunter's a very skillful boxer. So that fight should have happened, and then he had the lion's share of the money. It wasn't like any Terrence Crawford, 35% to 65% for Spence and no guarantee. No, it was nothing like that. It was a purse bid that he was going to get $600,000 to $700,000, and then Hrgovic was going to get the remaining part of that pie, which was $200,000 or $300,000, right? So, it was all in his favor. So I think he walked away from the best possible outcome that he could have had, being in the position that he was in. And then when you turn down fights like that, people are going to notice, and the opportunity is going to flee. And there will not be, and who's to say, and the opportunity that he has may not be guaranteed again. And that's what he's going through. That's what he's dealing with. So let's hope he doesn't do the same thing with Usyk Klimas, because if he pulls that Houdini shit with them, they're gonna think to themselves, this guy's difficult and he doesn't want to fight the possible guys to put him where we think he needs to be in order to go where he needs to go. So a lot of times when you get another advisor, manager, or whatever, if you're not doing what they're advising you to do, they're not doing their job. So why are they there? Okay. So that's what they're looking at. And that's what a lot of people saw in Michael Hunter when he walked away from that fight. See, if he would have been, here's the thing. The heavyweight landscape would have been so different. Let me explain to you. Now we've seen what could have happened. If Michael Hunter would have fought Filip Hrgovic, right, and beat him, that meant Filip Hrgovic wouldn't have fought Zhilei Zhang. That meant Michael Hunter possibly would have fought Zhilei Zhang. Okay? And then he would have put him right back in position to fight for a title, or to fight Joshua, which is a big name. Because what happens is Michael Hunter was that last option when Jarrell Miller messed up his opportunity with the drugs. Okay? So you had Luis Ortiz, you had Adam Kalnaki, you had Andy Ruiz, you had Dillian White somewhere in that shuffle, and then at the last point of interest was Michael Hunter. Okay? But Michael Hunter wasn't picked because Andy Ruiz begged Eddie Hearn to convince him enough to take the fight, and we know what happened with that. But if he would have beat Hrgovic wouldn't have fought for any type of eliminator, okay, on the IBF side. Then he would have became that person, because he would have beat Hrgovic. Then he would have been up there at IBF. We know IBF don't play. They make their known intentions and they enforce them, okay? So he would have done that. Now, if you'd have beat Zhilei Zhang, Okay, because Zhilei Zhang's a hard-hitting guy, but I see a younger guy, smoother, faster, better gas tank, great boxing ability, being able to box Zhilei Zhang, staying in the middle of the ring, circling that big boy, and boxing his face off for 12 rounds. Would it have been exciting? Who cares? If he would have got the win like Hrgovic got the win, Hrgovic now is the IBF mandatory. That's what happened. So regardless of what happens, he is in position to fight for a world title. That's where Michael Hunter could have been. So you guys see the narration of where he could have been versus where he's at now. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Michael Hunter signing with Usyk Klimas, the manager of Alexander Usyk and Vasyl Lomachenko. Will that make a difference for the career of Michael Hunter, the bounty? Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.